Hey, everybody, this is TJR. Over the Christmas weekend, I finished watching the new Marvel series entitled Hawkeye, and I thought it was a very enjoyable show. But this is not a review of the series. I want to talk about the after credits musical number. Why? Because how could I not talk about it?
To get the Tesseract, the battle's just begun.
We'll conquer the Chitauri.
Then get Shawarma when we're done.
And I have a couple of observations about this scene that I would like to share with you, get your thoughts on. Now, first observation, when I watched this scene, I couldn't help but be reminded of an episode of the animated Batman Beyond series entitled Out of the Past. And this episode opens in a very similar way. We have the newer, younger Batman, Terry McGinnis, taking the very elderly Bruce Wayne, who's in his late 80s, to see what is an just as equally cheesy musical about the life of the original Caped Crusader, entitled, of course, Batman. And the elderly Bruce Wayne has a very similar reaction to Clint Barton at seeing this really awful, awful musical.
You hate me, don't you?
Lighten up, it's your birthday.
Don't remind me.
I should add that series, that particular episode was from the year 2000. And that was over 20 years ago. As I watched this, I thought there's no doubt in my mind that the showrunners for this series more than likely saw this episode of Batman Beyond and took inspiration from it. So I really do have to point that out and just kind of give some credit where credit is due. Now, this musical number that we saw in episode 1 was, of course, edited. We open right in the middle of it. And we cut back and forth to reaction shots of Clint Barton and his kids. And then they leave the theater without ever finishing it. So we just saw a very edited version of it. However, though, with episode 6, we got to see, as an after credits bonus, the entire musical production number. And while watching this unedited version, I recognized this guy.
The skies turn red and I feel the heat, gotta go.
I want to ask how many music fans out there noticed the appearance of Ty Taylor from the band Vintage Trouble. And if you're asking me, well, who is Vintage Trouble? Go to YouTube and look up Blues Hand Me Down.
Papa was a blues man, gave me the blues, hand me down. And alligator shoes, man, gave me the blues, hand me down.
Anyways, I just want to say it was a real treat to actually find him in this. And it's tough out there for musicians right now with the whole COVID crisis. It was tough before the COVID crisis. It became a lot tougher afterwards. So glad that he's found other ways to get some work. At any rate, though, let me talk about the actual musical number now, and let me talk about the music. This is, in my opinion, a really well-made parody of big franchise influence Broadway musicals. And Disney certainly knows a thing or two about those. As we watched this, a superfan turned to me and she just said to me, these lyrics are really bad. And then she acknowledged that they were written deliberately to be bad, which she then said is not an easy thing to do. If you are a good songwriter, it's very hard to write bad lyrics on purpose. It takes a certain amount of skill and finesse to write them to the point where they are funny. And a good example of this would be the original movie, The Producers, not the newer musical version, which I've never seen, so I can't talk about it, but the original movie, The Producers, the Mel Brooks film. And I'm talking about the musical numbers within the movie, the Hitler musical. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that, but very funny movie if you ever get the chance to see the original. Never seen the remake, which is a full-on musical. Have no idea if it's any good. I digress, though. But That being said, I thought this musical number was really well done as a piece of meta satire. And it's incredibly cheesy, deliberately so. And as I watched this, I thought about a number of things, and I thought about the idea that Marvel / Disney will leave no stone unturned. And I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, we had the What If series, the animated series, which I was kind of hot and cold on. We had some good episodes. We had some really awful episodes of that. But one of the really good episodes was one of the early ones with Captain Carter. And I thought to myself, if viewers respond strongly to just say that one episode and want to see more animated adventures of Captain Carter, you can bet we'll probably see more, especially if they can spin that off into merchandise and other ancillary products. We'll certainly see that. Of course, it has to be good. It has to be as good as the episode we saw or better for people to continue to want more. Who knows? We may even see a live action version. Anything's possible. So as I watched this after credits musical number, I thought to myself, definitely, if this gets a very strong reaction, and I hear that it did generate quite a bit of buzz from episode 1 to the point where there was a demand to see the entire musical number. So if this continues to get a strong reaction, it wouldn't surprise me if Disney / Marvel puts together the rest of the Rogers, the musical, around that number. In other words, we could see the entire stage show. Now, you may think that's a really bad idea, but I've learned that in movies, TV, novels, comic books, albums, music, there are no bad ideas, really. There's just ideas that are badly executed. And if they can be clever enough with the writing, clever enough with the camp that is what this musical number is, it's camp. It's that type of comedy. If they're clever enough with it and they can sustain it, then it could work. And now, I'm not saying that it's going to make its way straight to Broadway. I would see this more as a Disney Plus standalone, one episode special. But then again, always remember, they'll leave no stone unturned. If there's money to be made, there's money to be made. And if the response to that TV special was strong enough, and it would have to be really strong for them to do this, because we're talking a lot of money here. A stage production, and it would be an expanded stage production, expanded from what they showed on TV. You always have to keep raising the bar. But a stage production, a real live stage production, would not be out of the question. It all depends on reaction. And if all of this did happen, I would just personally find the whole thing to be spectacularly hysterical, because I know this would piss off. The very idea of this would piss off a lot of hardcore comic book fans. And that to me is just too funny. At any rate, though, those are some thoughts that I just felt I had to share after watching this. Let me know yours. As always, if you like what I do here, please click like. That way the YouTube algorithm recognizes me. I would be grateful if you clicked subscribe and if you hit the bell notification icon so you never miss a video. And if you'd like to show an extra level of support, please consider becoming a patron supporter. And patron supporters get access to content not featured here on the channel, and they sometimes get early access to selected videos. But if you can't be a patron supporter, that's okay. Just click like. That helps a lot right there. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. And let me know what you thought of the series. If you would like to talk about it, that's perfectly fine. I know I didn't really talk about the series on this video, but I'm happy to hear your thoughts on it. And also this musical number. And let me know if you think my thoughts are on the mark or way off the mark. I'd be curious to hear. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.